Hi guys, Mosk here, and today we're going to be looking at the first turn Fahad goal. Basically we're using Zarola's Midnight Offering and then linked abilities to help Fahad go the distance and score. This is obviously not limited to the first turn, and it is a set piece play that is useful throughout the game, but this video is going to just demonstrate it from the first turn, which is really the maximum likely range, and all the principles will apply to other turns. So the threat range is a 22 inches, is pretty nice. You get 4 inches from a pass dodge, 6 inches from Midnight Offering, 8 inches from a charge or a sprint, and then 4 inches of Fahad's kick. If Scather is the captain and you fancy throwing a snowball in there, you can get that up to 26 inches with the extra 4-inch dodge. But as I think the snowball is better used for gaining momentum, we're not going to use that dodge in the example. So at 22 inches, basically what we're looking at is a triangle like this, in which Fahad can be deployed and be within effective range. Basically, if there's 8 inches or more of distance between him and the edge of the board, you should be happy that you've got range. However, the closer to the center you deploy Fahad, the more flexible a range of motion you've got, as out here where he's deployed at this moment. If he deviates from a straight line at any point, he will become out of range. So let's do a sterile laboratory demonstration with Fahad deployed in the center. Some nasty fellow has just dinked the ball over the line, so it's in a less than ideal place where we want to collect. And for whatever reason, I decided to use J-Car for this demonstration. Ideally, you want to be collecting the ball with a 3-6 kick model, or 3-8 because egret is a thing, just to try to increase your chances of making that pass. So first activation, J-Car's moved up to collect the ball. He passes to Zarola, making it. I really wouldn't want to do this with a 2-dice kick model. We waste some activations. Scather's going to go and snowball, pass it to somebody, generate an extra piece of momentum. We only technically need 1 momentum in order to use it to shoot the goal, but ideally we want 3 so that we can bonus time Zarola's pass and the kick on goal from Fahad. So in this scenario we've only managed to bank 2, but what the hey. Eventually Zarola's going to go, ideally last if we can, pass the ball to Fahad, dodge him up 4, she'll then jog up, and then Midnight offer him up his 6-inch jog. And now the really important thing is that Zarola, after ending her activation, can link immediately to Fahad, and he can take his own activation without the enemy interrupting us. So up until this point, we've had the goal on our 10-inch deployment line on a model with defense 5, and if we put it on Zarola as early as we can, she's got unpredictable movement as well, which is about as safe as the ball can be on the Hunter's receiving team. If we are particularly worried about, say, a 2-inch striker with a huge threat, we could actually deploy Zarola a little bit back, but it's then harder to get the ball to her. Worth thinking about anyway. So Fahad's up, and this is the threat zone he's got to get within range of the goal. If we're doing this in the most influence-efficient way, we only need 1 influence here, as we can use his Furious ability to charge something for free, taking us 8 inches. And maybe we can look to make an attack and get a dodge out of engagement or some extra momentum to take the shot. It doesn't actually matter too much if he ends up engaged with an opponent and you don't intend to bonus time because you're still just rolling 1 dice. But in practice I tend to find that I fluff that charge roll and end up losing the ball. So what we can do instead is charge something and then fail that charge by not ending up engaged by anything. Say there was a model over here, we chose to charge it and then went off over here. Still gets us the distance and then we can take that shot. I like to put 2 influence on Fahad for this, as it just gives us that little bit of extra flexibility. So if, for example, we can't get to where we need to be within range of the ball in a straight line that the charge would require, we can use that second influence to sprint 8 inches instead and possibly still get to in range. If we're going to charge something, that second influence would give us an extra attack to perhaps tackle the ball back, maybe, if something counterattacked and got it off us. Or what I think I would favour would be to put up his nimble before he goes in. So this actually took a little bit more thinking about than I had expected. in terms of where on the pitch you can place Fahad and him still be a threat. And I hope this has shown you that in a way that might be useful. For a bit of fun, I decided to try a live scenario, no terrain, which is a bit of a weakness because terrain could really mess with Fahad's distances, and I am using the other Hunters models I have available for a second team that's arguably not the best lineup, but I thought I'd see what happened. The ball's on Chaska, and Theron's team is kicking off. I haven't allocated them any influence. I'm just assuming that the enemy will have whatever influence they want. And as you can see, I've put my 3 on Zarola, 2 on Fahad, the customary at least 4 on Scatha, 1 on the bear just in case I might need to make a pass or get the ball and make a pass, or if something goes wrong, and then 1 on Minx, as I'd quite like to go collect the ball with her. That's why I put 1 on the bear in case Chaska decides to kick out over here like a tricksy devil, in which case the bear can go and try to pick up the ball. Chaska wanders up, punts the ball 1 to the 4. As I said, this is not the most brilliant lineup the Hunters have ever seen. I could have kicked off with Ulfa or Egret as the more mobile, threatening strikers, but I did actually quite like the idea of Chaska being a little bit further up the board to threaten a potential quad boombox. The ball is still within range of Minx, so she fails a charge on Chaska, just managing to snap the ball, and then passes to Scatha. She's a 2-6 kick model, so obviously I fail the pass with double 1s, and then the ball scatters another Snake Eyes, because I know how to roll dice. The field develops with some dud activations, and now it's time for Scatha to get the ball over to Zarola. We use her fast ground to help get her over to within range and then trying not to block Fahad, whilst also having her just a little bit more forward than are basically touching my goal. Already started to mess things up, guys. We successfully pass the real ball to Zarola, banking the momentum, and then we create the snowball and pass successfully to Fahad. Because of the awkward way I've done this, and the way the evil hunters are choking up my threat zone, I decide not to bank the momentum and instead dodge Fahad forwards. There he goes. This isn't a great idea because evil Theron knows what I'm up to. He activates, drops a forest down here to slow up Fahad. I won't be able to use momentum to glide because I don't have enough. And then he shoots away at the cat. Can't stop rolling 5s, and yeah, but basically one shot of either of his abilities would stop the goal run, and I can really appreciate how annoying people might find Theron to face. So that's been scuppered. So for the sake of the demonstration, let's continue on as if we weren't playing against Theron or Theron had missed. Zarola activates. She jogs up to be within range to make the pass to Fahad. We don't bonus time it because I need the momentum and haven't managed to collect enough, but she makes it on 2 dice and Fahad dodges up 4, staying just within 6 inches of Zarola. The way is pretty much blocked over here. I have a little gap which I could slip through, possibly get to snow and try to dodge out and get into range, but I mean, I'd be so crowded out, that would be very unappealing. But thanks to the fact I snowballed and took the dodge earlier, I've got a bit more range to play with. And Zarola is able to midnight, offering him all the way out over here, skirting around Chaska with a much more favourable charge aimed at snow. It's very likely the evil hunters have managed to generate momentum thus far, and snow as a tackle on 1, but not a very high attack. So what I do is I use one of my influence to put up nimble. I then charge snow, who declares counterattack, and let's say a defensive stance 2. All we want is the momentous dodge, and we get it, allowing Fahad to slot away the bonus time 2 die tap in, and Egret and Chaska can go murder Minx or something. So there we go. Doing that helped me appreciate that this really is quite a risky play without a very high chance of going off successfully. Using the snowball dodge was really great to get that extra little distance and help get the angle to go round the enemy team. But as you saw, also made the ball vulnerable, or at least the goal run vulnerable, to enemy disruption. And generating momentum turned out to be quite tricky. Perhaps it would be better with Theron as captain, as he generates momentum more easily on the first turn, but then doesn't have the snowball to make the run more flexible, so swings and roundabouts. Hope you found that interesting. It was certainly interesting for me to try it out. and I'll catch you on the next one. Take care.